Gentlemen, this is Democracy Manifest. Will you get your hand off my penis? What are the charges? Eating a meal? A succulent Chinese meal? That is quite a headlock, sir. I see you know your judo. Ta-ta, bye-bye.
Period. What is that from?
That is actual video of an actual arrest in Australia.
Period.
For context, he got arrested for buying a Chinese meal with a stolen credit card. And welcome back to another episode of Crips and Corks, where we are proudly human-made and human-produced. I'm your host, DJ. I am a human, despite claims to the contrary, along with my dear friend and co-host, who puts the jizz in jacuzzi.
Paul, that stolen Chinese meal DJ was just talking about, as usual.
I really got you with the jizz and jacuzzi, didn't I? I came up with that on Thursday. I went to the movies with my grandmother, and I told her that we're going to Deep Creek, and she was like, "What do you do in Deep Creek? Do you go swimming in the lake?" And I was like, "Well, there's a hot tub." And she's like, "There's a hot tub?" And I said, "Yeah, Paul doesn't go anywhere without a hot tub."
Not anymore, girl. Well, hot tub or hot springs, because as you guys all know, I just got back from Iceland.
Yes.
Which is today's, well, I guess this week's blessing was being in Iceland and experiencing all the cool Icelandic things, all the cool Icelandic food, the nature, the men. I truly got to sample it all, and it was really cool. It was really fun. And now we're back, which leads into the curse of the week is as soon as I got back, I got sick.
Yes, you did.
And if you truly want to feel like the worst you've ever felt, the most useless, because as you know, when you get back from traveling, you have so much to do. There's so much laundry, there's so many chores, there's so much. But when you're sick, you can't do any of it. And I truly felt the most discouraged, the most awful, probably the lowest I felt in a while when I got back and being sick and everything. Because also you have like the come down from vacation and everything on top of being sick. It was just... Let's just say Crips and Corks was almost Crypt and Cork because I almost threw myself off a bridge for a couple days there.
Wait, did you just say Crips and Corks almost became Crypt and Cork?
Yes, singular.
That implies that each one of us is a Crypt and a Cork.
Yes, exactly. But we are feeling better and more optimistic about life again. And surprisingly, Iceland has some of the hottest guys I've seen in a long time, and some of the hottest guys that if you're related to me, fast forward like 30 seconds, some of the guys, like the hottest guys I've ever like made out with, it was, oh my gosh.
Oh, that was really PG for the skip ahead.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was so cool. And the first night there, I got really drunk and rolled down the street.
Yes.
Maybe I'll put the clip of that in the video. But I very much did roll down the street drunkenly at 3 a.m. And I think that was the sign of a good trip. So overall, great trip. Recommend Iceland for sure. Go to the hot springs. Talk with the locals. They're all very friendly. They all speak English because they're an educated country.
Unlike America.
Yeah. So that's my blessing and curse of the week. And we're back and ready to be spooky girls again. How about you, DJ?
My blessing is I saw The Devil Wears Prada 2 on Thursday. A day before it came out.
Oh, okay. Exclusive.
Yes, exclusive. I got invited to a premiere show. No, I didn't. I guess the movie theater messed up and they started showings on Thursday afternoon rather than Friday. Which was fun because I took Thursday off, so I was gonna work it. It was really good. It was much better than I had hoped because, you know, sequels... You hope for a lot and it never lives up to it. So like now anymore, because we do have so many sequels coming out or reboots, I'm kind of like disenchanted. And it's like, I'm going to watch it, but like, it's not going to like live up to the original. But this one actually pretty much lived up to the original.
See, that's what people keep saying, so I'm definitely gonna have to watch it because I'm a very firm believer the sequel's never as good as the original. So maybe this will break that.
As good, no, but like I said, do you kind of feel the same watching it? Yes. It's
Okay.
not like Hocus Pocus 2 where you're watching and you go like, this is nothing but 2 hours of trying to play into our nostalgia.
Right, right. Well, I'll go ahead and give that a watch at some point, and maybe I'll agree, maybe I'll disagree. We'll see.
And my curse is so before I came here, I wanted to go to Sally's Beauty to get a. My grandmother has
Oh,
this.
did they kick you out? They saw you and were like, no, no, sweetie.
Yeah,
J.C. Penney's that
absolutely.
way. There's a
Yeah.
TJ Maxx
They
over
said Kohl's
yonder.
was on the other side of the
Right,
plaza.
right.
No, I went in because grandmother has this blow dryer brush, like it's a curly. It's the round one that blow dries, and I really like it, but I'm getting tired of asking to borrow it.
Mm-hmm.
So I just went out and bought my own because I'm an adult. I have adult money. Um, but then when I got back in the car, I looked in the mirror and I realized that I got dressed in the dark this morning because it's dark and cloudy out. And I guess I didn't look hard enough in the mirror at myself and I had a horrible breakout. So I then had to go running into a Target to find concealer and a makeup sponge so that when I got here I could cover it up.
Well, we all have our struggles. We all have our struggles. And, you look a little tan.
Do I?
Yeah. Might be my eyes, though.
I
Might be
think
the
it's your
lighting.
eyes because I
It
just
looks
did
like,
a little.
Because it's not just your face either, it's your whole body. You look tan
Do
to
I?
me.
I mean, I did on Monday. I sat outside for a good long while, but
That might be it. Maybe you are a little tanner than the last time I saw you.
maybe. I don't know. I still think I'm ghostly white. What's whiter, me or the microphone? Trick question. We're the same shade. Ba-boom. Shh.
And we'll be here all week.
Anyways, I promise that will be the lamest joke I make this episode.
One could hope.
Are you ready to drink, or is there anything else?
Let's get into the booze. I haven't drank since Sunday because sick, so we'll see how this goes.
Okay, today we're drinking a Chateau Racon Bordeaux Supérieur. Chateau Racon is a 90-hectare estate situated on the border of Fonsac, just west of Libourne. It has been in Xavier Milhaud's family now for 4 generations. The vineyards are planted on iron-rich clay soils, producing firm, long-lived wines. The grapes are vinified traditionally and matured in small tanks for 2 years before bottling. One of the most renowned properties of the appellation, Rocogne, is elemental essential Bordeaux Supérieur with a complexity and depth of flavor that confirms its privilege terroir. Delicious, young. This one, you can tell somebody tried to write this from French into English. Delicious young. This wine is deceptively age-worthy, and good vintages from the 1950s and 60s are still vibrant and full of life. It is 78% Merlot, 12% Cabernet Franc, and 10% Cabernet Sauvignon.
And I'm proud to say I understood about 10% of those words.
You're learning.
Yay! Phonics with friends.
And I just happened to notice as I went to do the cork, this is a 2022 vintage.
Oh, okay. So aged for 3 years. No,
4.
4 years. Yeah. Math. Actually, when they age it, when do they get it out of the barrel? We're gonna have to look that up at some point.
They marked the bottle year. Do you have a better corkscrew?
Oh, you know what? That was a really dumb question. Leave me alone. Don't talk to me. I'm an idiot. I don't even know what I was thinking with that question. Because, of course, when they get it out of the bottle is when we are getting it out of the bottle. I'll ignore myself.
It's okay.
and-
I knew what you meant.
No.
No,
You don't have to defend me.
Did you mean what you said?
I did mean what I said, and I'll see myself out.
Okay. Smells nice.
We'll give her a go. We'll see.
ASMR pour 1. ASMR pour number 2. You're safe. Everything is fine. Feel your stress. Pour out like wine from the bottle. And no more stress.
Okay, that last little tap. Okay.
The first time it was a mistake, and then I was like, wait, it sounds like those meditation bowls.
It does. It sounds like a gong.
Cheers.
Cheers.
It needs to air.
I'm gonna give that one more taste. Oh.
Give it a little swirl in the glass.
Oh no.
No, there's something. I'm gonna crack this up to being you being sick. But once this airs a little bit,
That is very, very bitter. And a little bit sour. Now, I will also note that I did also burn my tongue pretty bad on tiki masala last night, so...
yeah, I think...
It might be a combination of the sick, because if
Yeah.
you can't tell by my voice, I'm, like, stuffed up and gross right now.
Yeah.
And...
Do you have the drainage?
Yeah.
Yeah, and that makes everything taste foul.
Yeah, it's... Yeah, I'm sure she's a great wine if I was at 100%.
I will say, as somebody who's operating at 93%, that it's not bitter. There is a little bit of sour, which is why I keep saying it needs to air, because you are supposed to aerate the wine before you drink it, rather than what we do is uncork it and pour it right away.
We're eager beavers.
Maybe we should get one of those aeration things that you pop on. It like aerates it as it pours.
Mm-hmm.
But no, once this sits for a while, it's gonna like taste really good.
I can imagine, yes.
I'm gonna give it 3 3/4 grapes.
Okay, my sick rating is 1.5, but maybe we'll give it another go around when I'm not sick, and maybe it'll get a better rating. And my rating right now is not a reflection of this wine, so just take DJ's word for it this time.
Yeah. Well, per usual, mine is the only opinion that matters on this podcast.
Yeah, and he's about to get jumped in the fucking parking lot for his opinion.
Speaking of getting jumped, Paul, shall we jump into it?
Let's get into it.
All right, let me tell you a story. Paris, the city of light, the most romantic city on earth. Home to the Louvre with the world's greatest art collection, honeymoon spot for millions. But it wasn't always like this. Once, it was a dirty city whose streets were filled with the stench of the rotting death emanating from the overcrowded cemeteries.
Once.
How did Paris go from that to a city full of life? Well, they built a city for the dead underground. Today, we're going deep under one of the world's most famous cities and exploring the tombs and tunnels of the Paris Catacombs.
Ooh. Now, I'm super excited for this one because I'm really curious why kitties getting combed is so scary.
Kitty's getting because cat comb.
Yeah.
Okay.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I'll be here all week, guys.
Okay, very good, Miss Pitty
And
Pat.
I do also want to note I am a little offended, and as you guys can imagine why, I have been describing to you all week how I'm sick and deathly and ill and everything. And then you repay me with a whole story about the people I have beef with most in this world.
Yeah. Well, the unspoken agreement was you were supposed to research this episode,
I was.
but you were sick, and I said I will research a topic. I will research and present so that you can get better. The unspoken agreement was I was going to do whatever the fuck I wanted, regardless of you being sick.
That was the agreement, yes. And I hope you guys are ready for this episode because it's going to be what my brother so wonderfully described as an episode DJ chooses so he can speak in French.
And you know what, Jesse? I made sure to put as many unnecessary French terms as possible in here just to annoy you. You're welcome.
Oh my god.
All right. So the catacombs can trace their creation back to the time of the Roman settlement of Paris in the 1st century BC, around the time you had your first kiss.
Yeah. I mean, I've been in the game for a while, playing the fields, doing the thing.
Yeah. I mean, patient zero for clap, gonorrhea. So at this time, two events occurred which would spark what would become the catacombs. The Romans began to mine for the limestone that was beneath the surface of the left bank of the River Seine in open-air quarries, and a burial ground was established on the right bank away from the Roman settlement.
Okay.
The 1st century Roman settlers had no idea that these two utterly unconnected events would eventually collide. That burial ground on the right bank would continue to be used for over a millennium when it was formally established as the Cemetery des Saints Innocents, or Holy Innocents Cemetery, in 1130, and was attached to the Les Innocents Church.
Oh, yes. Yes, the Innocence Church, because the Church of 13 Charges just didn't have the same ring. And of course, the Church of the Violated Baguette was already taken.
Exactly. But so the cemetery was formally founded in 1130, but it had been in use for 1,000 years by that point.
Wait, the church itself?
The cemetery.
The cemetery.
The cemetery.
Okay, so the cemetery has been in use for a long
For
time.
1,000 years.
That's a lot
In
of bodies.
1130. So when it officially opened.
That's a lot of bodies, girl.
Right?
Bodies, bodies, bodies.
In
Ooh. Ooh, dig up your
Yada,
mom.
yada, 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 yada.
Body, yada, 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 yada. Yes, make the stallion. Get into it. And, yeah.
In 1180, King Philippe II had large walls built all around the cemetery to separate it from the local market, because it was in a district of France called Les Halles, which means the marketplace, and it was the main shopping district of Paris at that time.
I mean, nothing says shopping like graveyards and dead bodies.
Yeah.
Like,
And the king was really afraid that eventually the market would just start to sell right over top of the cemetery, and he was like, this is kind of gross.
okay, that'd be kind of metal. I would go to the graveyard market. If they had a farmer's market and a graveyard, I would definitely go there. I'd buy peaches on top of your dead grandmother.
Well, you can't, because my dead grandmother's on a wall.
We could make use of that. We'll figure it out.
Okay. Within 70 years...
I didn't mean your dead mother.
Oh, you meant their dead
like,
grandmother.
Just anyone's
You
grandmother.
meant their dead grandmothers.
Yes.
Okay. Within 70 years, the cemetery was so full, all of the skeletons were exhumed and stacked up against the walls. It was initially established to have individual graves, like we think of a cemetery today. But soon there were so many people getting buried there that they adopted a mass grave technique in which trenches would be dug and filled up with up to 15,000 corpses before being filled in.
That's actually crazy. Now, were these 15,000 people, were they like dying of like a plague or something? Or is it just like people dying of natural causes and the general community just dying?
All of the above. It's people dying. It is the plague victim, which in a period of 5 days, 50,000 people died of the plague and buried in the cemetery. We're also getting to the point of the 100 Years' War, where France and England were at war for over 100 years, and soldiers are being killed by the hundreds and just being dumped here.
Makes sense. Okay.
And also, this is a time period where people dying, you died a lot quicker, and you died in droves.
Yeah. And I mean, the bodies, even like once the body deteriorate, there's still all the bones that don't.
Yeah. And so, because of that, between the 14th and 15th centuries, the citizens built arched galleries to house the increasing number of exhumed corpses. So, on those walls, they built, like, cloisters. Like
the Pokemon?
No. So, think of, like, porches all around the inside of the walls. And the corpses would be stalled in these porches and, like, stacked up to the roof.
Interesting.
But like it's Gothic period, so like everything was like arches.
I'm not gonna lie. I can't picture it. I don't know. I'll look it up later. I'm sure the
I'll
people at
get you a
home.
picture.
I'm sure the girls at home know what you're talking about because I sure as hell don't.
I'll get you a
It
picture.
sounds like
Don't
you're
you
talking
worry.
about the balconies.
No, don't you worry. I'm getting you a picture.
Okay, yes, we're going to need a picture for this one because your girl is confused. Are you talking about that?
Yes.
So they're like arches.
Yes.
And they're
So
made of bodies.
Yeah, so they're
Okay.
like porches, but it's not attached to a building, it's just attached to the walls.
Oh, okay. I see. Yes, that makes sense.
From August 1424 till Lent of the following year, while John, Duke of Bedford, ruled Paris as regent for King Henry V of England during the Hundred Years' War, a mural of the Danse Macabre was painted along the back wall of one of these galleries.
Now, what is the Danse Macabre?
I'm glad you asked.
Okay.
Danse Macabre, or the Dance of the Dead, is a common artistic representation and consists of the dead, or a personification of death, summoning representatives from all walks of life to dance along to the grave.
Now, I would argue the Dance of the Dead is actually any sort of dance held at any nursing home, any sort of jig done there, any sort of Zumba class.
That's awful, Paul. It often would start with death collecting the Pope and the King first, and then the peasantry representing the ultimate equality of death. So I'll kind of give you...
Interesting.
So often death was represented by a skeleton or a rotting corpse.
Yeah. Understandably so.
Now, why this is important is that this was the first major artistic representation of this theme.
Of the Dance of the Dead.
Yes, which it became a huge artistic theme down the centuries, including the very famous classical piece of music by Saint-Saëns called Danse Macabre, which is what I think of the first time. It's like a Halloween song, like around Halloween time if you watch like...
And you've heard this song before you've researched this.
Yes. Okay, the first time I heard it, I can tell you exactly when, was Disney's House of Mouse Villains Takeover special from when we were kids.
Okay.
I will show you it later.
You're really not helping the old lady rumors.
It was a Disney show from when we were kids.
Girl, but still, no one knows the Dance of Macabre.
Look it up.
Girl, no one knows that shit.
Anyways, this very famous mural was destroyed within 200 years in 1669. 69! When the wall it was painted on was torn down to allow the road behind it to be widened. Now, despite the fact that Les Innocents was the cemetery for the church next door, whose name it had, it was actually the burial ground for 22 different parishes within the city, along with 2 different hospitals and the city morgue. So if you died in any one of these parishes, either those 2 hospitals, or just got taken to the morgue, you would end up getting buried here.
Girl, everyone's getting buried there, but I guess they gotta put them somewhere, you know?
Mm-hmm. During the reign of King Louis XV in the early 1700s, city officials began to lodge complaints that the area around the cemetery was impossible to do business in due to the unsanitary nature of the area. They claimed that fumes from the decomposing corpses made the air around the cemetery poisonous, and that it could rot fruit, meat, and food within minutes and turn wine into vinegar as soon as it was uncorked, which I think you're experiencing right now.
Yeah, I was about to say that's what this wine tastes like. I was exposed to that shit. Because, girl, it tastes a little vinegary.
And you know what the funny thing is? Paul picked up the wine for me.
I did. Well, it looked like a fancy bottle, so I was like, okay, cool, bet. But again, I'm probably just sick, and it's probably a good wine, and blah, 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 PR, whatever.
The church, which owned and operated the cemetery, resisted attempts to close it or to open alternate cemeteries outside the city. They claimed that for a soul to reach heaven, the body must be interred in sacred land, and that opening new cemeteries could lead to secular cemeteries where the departed would be buried without means of getting into heaven.
I've heard that belief before. I think Jewish people believe that too.
Yeah. Actually, as poverty in France rose in the lead up to the revolution, the church's main source of income was burial fees. So, as a compromise, the church agreed to raise the fees on burial in an effort to deter people from getting buried there.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta do what you gotta do. You can't just have anyone buried there. I mean, most people are. But also, once you're dead, does it really matter? Honestly, just throw them in the trash.
Well, to them it mattered, so.
While they're alive, they're not gonna know once they're dead. I mean, they might know.
They might know. We'll get into that later.
But what are they gonna do about it? Nothing.
By the late 1700s, the cemetery was a 6.6-foot high mound of corpses buried on top of one another, as the city grew around it to the point that the buildings around it butted up against the walls, meant to keep the cities out. In spring 1780, there was a prolonged period of rain which made the ground unstable. On September the 4th, 1780, a local restaurateur went into his cellar to get a bottle of wine when he was overcome by the smell of death to the point of being sick. The weight of the bodies and the soggy ground caused the walls of the basement to collapse, spilling centuries' worth of remains into the basements of 3 buildings along the cemetery. And may I remind you, this is the main food market district of the city.
Damn, I bet it smelled like Lindsey Graham in there.
And his ladybugs. King Louis XVI, who had been trying for years to put an end to the overcrowding of cemeteries, immediately issued an order for the cemetery to be closed with no more burials. But with the threat of further basement collapses looming, the king would have to find a solution to the overcrowding, and fast. Meanwhile, while Les Innocents was being filled, the rich veins of limestone beneath the city were being harvested.
Ooh, lime. Okay, that's an important mineral.
Yeah. The site of what is now Paris sits in a bowl-like basin that spent much of history under a prehistoric sea. Paul knows lots about bowls because that's what his ass looks like.
Thank you.
Not like this. It's like inverted.
No, a bowl is like...
Yeah, you look...
I look like the inside of a bowl?
Yes. It
like
looks
the
like
indentation.
Yeah, it looks like the bowl turned inside out.
Okay, if I look like a bowl, you look like a pot. It's a bigger indentation.
It's okay.
With your flat ass.
I don't have a flat ass.
Girl, it looks like a wall, just straight down. Girl.
No, it doesn't.
It looks like a wall with a crack in it.
Oh my god. Leave me alone. I'm never going to do you a favor ever again.
Oh, girl. It looks like a moldy wall.
Are you done?
Made of concrete. Oh my god. Ooh.
It's milky white, much like the limestone that they were harvesting.
Is limestone white?
Yeah.
Oh. What do you know?
Anyways, the sediment of this prehistoric sea formed a unique limestone of an unusually beautiful color, ranging from bright milky white to butter yellow to a paler gray yellow. It was named Lutetian limestone after Lutetia Parisorium, the Roman name for the settlement which eventually became Paris. While the Romans and early French mined the stone in open-air quarries, it was soon deemed too expensive to move the massive amounts of earth to get to the limestone buried beneath. Miners soon began to dig wells straight down into the veins and then mining out tunnels horizontally through the vein. To prevent collapse, they would dig in a grid-like manner to keep pieces of the rock intact to act as pillars supporting the tunnels.
Genius.
Little is known of when and how the mines developed, as few records were kept. At the time, they were mainly on the left bank of the River Seine, far from the city which had moved to the right bank in the 10th century. They were thought to have started slowly, well outside the walls of the original Roman city, but as Paris grew and the stone of the ruins of the Roman city became scarce, mining began to increase. Unfortunately, as mining increased, so did the borders of the city. In the 15th century, the citizens began building faubourgs, ancient French meaning for city, or as we would call them, suburbs,
Oh, okay.
along the left bank, directly over the top of the mines that were never documented. This did not cause many problems at first. Oftentimes, property owners would find them and convert them into wine cellars.
Hey, win-win. Everyone loves a good wine
Right.
cellar. It really adds value to the home, to the restaurant, to really anywhere besides
Mm-hmm.
a daycare.
In one monastery, in addition to turning the mine beneath it.
Actually, a wine cellar in the daycare. We might be onto something there, you know? Get the kids a little turned. Get 'em a
Juice
little
boxes.
Oh, put the juice boxes down there and then spike them with the wine for nap time to make your job a little easier.
My joke was I call boxed wine juice boxes.
Yeah. My mom used to call NyQuil juice boxes.
You'd get home from school and it's, you want a juice box? You were out till it was time to get up for school the next morning.
Exactly. Kind of explains why I got so addicted to mescaline.
One monastery, in addition to turning the abandoned mines beneath it into a wine cellar, also began to mine the leftover limestone to sell on their own. So it wasn't companies mining this, it just turned into like anyone who would go down started mining it. The mining continued as the limestone was demanded for ever grander projects such as the Louvre Palace, the Notre Dame Cathedral, and the Arc de Triomphe.
You know, I'm going to have to Google what mescaline actually is, because this is like the second joke I've made about it, and I'm still not too sure what it is.
Shall we Google it now?
It's a naturally occurring psychedelic alkaloid derivated from cacti like peyote.
Oh,
So it's
peyote.
Yeah,
It's just peyote.
Yeah, it's like peyote.
Okay.
Now we know. Heart. The more you learn with Crips and Quirks, the less you know. Yay.
As the city grew and traffic increased along the main roads to the main royal palaces at Versailles and Fontainebleau, the abandoned mines came under more and more stress. In December 1774, one of these mines collapsed on the Rue d'Enfer, Hell Street, and swallowed out 100 feet worth of houses and businesses to a depth of 100 feet.
That's a pretty big job, actually.
That's a huge hole. That's bigger than yours.
Right.
Like gaping. Gaping, which is exactly what they write about you on the Lucky Stalls.
Well, if we want to talk about gaping holes, we can talk about how hard it was to find a chair he was able to sit in without it being swallowed whole by his gaping hole.
Jesus. It took months to find all of the bodies that were inside the buildings, and this was only the first of similar mine collapses. In response, King Louis XVI opened a new department, the Inspection Générale des Carrières, the Inspector General of Mines, or Quarries, to investigate the underground of the city of Paris to find all of the mines and build passageways with support columns to support the city above along the way. Now, this is where everything merges. Unlike Paul and any of his Tinder dates in the last 5 years. Police Prefect Lieutenant General Alexandre Lenoir, who had the responsibility both for the overfilled cemeteries and the collapsing mines, proposed that the renovated passageways be used as a depository for the overfilled Les Innocents Cemetery, and the king agreed in 1785, naming it the Ossuaire Municipal de Paris, or the Paris City Ossuary. Ossuary simply means a general tomb.
Oh, okay. What's an actuary again?
I have no clue.
Yeah, we'll figure it out later.
Work began immediately to exhume the 2 million remains buried in Les Innocents. That is 2 million bodies just buried in the ground, not including the skeletons that were piled up along the walls.
That's a lot of French people.
That's a lot of French people.
That's
That's your worst nightmare.
That's a lot of baguette.
That's your worst nightmare, bitch.
Honestly.
Just droves, swarms.
God, I bet they smelled a lot like Lindsey Graham even before they died. Oh, Jesus.
Workers soon made a gruesome discovery that the lack of oxygen and the piling of the bodies had altered the decomposition of many of them. Without the bacteria needed to break down the body's fats, what was left behind was a hardened cast of the body and a substance called adipose cere, similar in look to wax or soap, and is often called grave wax.
Oh, I don't like that. That's spooky.
This process is called saponification and was well known to the 1700s workers whose wives would force a similar procedure to make soap from animal fat.
So they were making soap out of it?
So there were so many bodies that were saponified, that were just
Not saponified.
saponified, or soapification.
Mm-hmm.
There were so many of these bodies that were just like this grave waxy substance that the grave wax was collected and turned into soaps and candles that were sold throughout the city.
Okay, low key. I kind of want one of those as like a keepsake.
Would you burn it?
Honestly, for this, I wouldn't burn it, but I'd like it as like a keepsake for the set, like a grave wax candle or soap for the set. That would be so like spooky. I like that.
We can look for one of those.
That would be cool.
It was decided to move the bodies only at night. Each night, for months, a grim procession of multiple wagons draped in black and filled to the brim with skeletons would solemnly march throughout the streets of Paris, from Les Innocents to the entrance to the mines, surrounded by torchbearers in funeral garb, and followed by multitudes of priests chanting and singing the mass for the dead.
Ooh, that's like straight out of a horror movie. Like, I'm picturing that, and that's spooky.
Like 50 wagons at a time.
Full of dead bodies.
Full of, yeah.
And then you hear, like, the priest chants. Like, that's spooky. I don't like that.
In nomine Patri Filii Spiritus Sancti. Amen.
Right. There's, like, yeah, very spooky.
Imagine trying to sleep through that.
God. And then all you can think about is, like, dying and death and things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that's crazy.
A property directly over the abandoned mines had been confiscated to be used as the entry point, and a well was dug down into the mine, and one by one the wagons would dump their once human cargo into it. The property would soon become a museum of sorts, as all of the statuary and funeral monuments from the cemetery were moved there for display.
Fun! Huh? Just a fun little display from the cemetery.
Yeah. In 1787, the gruesome task of emptying Les Innocents was completed. The thatched church was destroyed. The ground of the former cemetery was disinfected with lime. Like, not limestone, but like the chemical lime.
Yeah.
That's used to, like, dissolve bodies.
As we know from our true crime episodes.
To burn off as much of the filth of death as possible, and then it was covered with a thick layer of concrete to prevent any last shreds of the dead from ever making it to the surface again. And they built a beautiful fountain there, which is now called Les Innocents Fountain, but it was originally called the Fountain of the Nymphs.
Oh, I like that. That's cute. Fountain of the Nymphs. Mm-hmm. That's fun.
They also moved the main marketplace of the city away from there.
Understandable. It's pretty morbid.
Yeah. Soon, other parishes with cemeteries within the city of Paris were demanding that their cemeteries be emptied into the old mines as well. But before King Louis XVI could see to it that all of the Parisian cemeteries were emptied, the people of Paris rose up in revolution and stormed the Bastille fortress in 1789. The monarchy fell, and Louis and his wife Marie Antoinette were executed in 1793. The new French Republic soon began emptying out the Parisian cemeteries on its own accord to dump the bodies of princes, politicians, and other leaders of the former monarchy into the ossuary. And soon, Chaos took over with the Reign of Terror as the revolutionary leaders began to execute anyone who did not conform to their ideas for the new republic. In this way, the catacombs became the final resting place of important historical figures executed at the time, like Louis the Philippe II, Duke of Orleans, father of the future King Louis the Philippe, Madame du Barry, the famed mistress of King Louis XV and rival of Queen Marie Antoinette, Madame Elisabeth, a French princess and the sister of Kings Louis XVI, XVIII, and Charles X.
No, were their graves separated from everyone else, or are they just kind of thrown in there?
They were dumped.
They were just dumped
They
in
were
there.
killed in the revolution and then their bodies dumped down there.
That's rough.
And interestingly enough, so those are the most famous, but they were just like chopping people's heads off and dumping them in there.
Mm-hmm.
So there were a lot of like revolutionary figures and peasants and soldiers who were also dumped there. I was just doing like the famous people. But interestingly, the last person to be executed in the Reign of Terror and dumped down there was Maximilien Robespierre, a leader of both the revolution and the architect of the Reign of Terror. The one who instigated all of these mass executions was executed to end it and then dumped down there. So he was dumped in the mass grave of all of his victims.
I'd like to think that's some sort of divine karma.
Oh, if there's something like... If there was something like you were executed wrongfully and you didn't get a funeral and so your soul was kind of trapped to being within the vicinity of your body, and then the guy who like killed you got in there, his ghost got beaten up.
Oh, yeah, he's probably being tortured by all the souls he put down there. Which, again,
Karma.
yeah, divine karma.
Now, in 1799, Napoleon Bonaparte... What?
No, you just the hand motion you made it seem like, now everything's good.
Well, if you listen to Napoleon, it is. He came to power as first consul of the Republic and began to restore some semblance of normalcy within the government of France, at least until he declared himself emperor. To hear more about that, refer to episode 81, Napoleon and the Little Red Man.
All the way back then.
I know. I actually looked up to see what episode that was to be able to put that in there.
That's like 50 episodes ago now.
I know.
That's crazy.
I scroll back, I was like, where is it?
Yeah, dang. There's so much out there. That's crazy.
Fun fact, to find all of our episodes, I can't remember like what number they are, but I can remember their thumbnails. So I searched the YouTube.
Too.
After years of war and executions, Napoleon and the French had to decide how they wished to face death. It was impossible to go back to the system through which Les Innocents was allowed to be overfilled, but was it really any better to dump the bodies of the dead in the ossuary?
Probably not.
So in 1804, Père Lachaise Cemetery was founded on the outskirts of the city, with Napoleon, who was made emperor 3 days before, declaring, "All citizens have a right to be buried, regardless of race or sex."
Wow. Brave.
I mean, for 1804, it was pretty brave.
Right.
The cemetery was designed like a cross between a public park and a city for the deceased, with long avenues for tombs and monuments set in a quiet garden-like setting. So this is the first modern cemetery. And to this day, it is the world's most visited cemetery.
So they took bodies out of what?
No, it was for people who died after that.
Okay. So then, wait, why did you tell me this then?
It was just to kind of conclude that thought. So I watched a documentary on YouTube, and I thought it was all about the catacombs, but as it turns out, it was about like all the famous cemeteries in Paris, of which the catacombs was the first. So I kind of just added it in there because I knew it.
Okay, period. Okay, I was also asking just for like my thing, just to make sure I wasn't missing any connections.
No. But to go back, what were they going to do with the municipal ossuary, which was just old abandoned mines filled with piles of bones? Well, in 1810, the director of the Inspecteur Général des Carrières, Louis Etienne Héricot de Terry, had the idea to collect and display the bones in the ossuary and create a mausoleum for the public to visit the 6 million skeletons down there. That is 3 times the population of Paris.
That's actually crazy. 6 million skeletons? Damn. And they don't even let you take any home either. That's crazy. Selfish bitches.
In addition to arranging the tibias, fibulas, femurs, and skulls in an artistic patterns, de Thierry also installed statues and markers from the former Les Innocents cemetery, and also installed stone slabs to document which cemetery which skeletons were exhumed from.
You know, it would be interesting being the artists they asked to rearrange all the dead bodies in a cool way. Because they either think you're like the coolest person or the most fucked up in the head. Which honestly, for me, it'd be the most fucked up in the head. We're like, yeah, we know Paul would know what to do with these bones.
He also renamed the municipal ossuary the Catacombs, harkening back to the famed ancient catacombs of Rome and linking the former Roman settlement with the capital, which lent its name to one of the world's greatest empires. While Napoleon created his empire above, de Thierry had created one for the dead of Paris below.
Ooh, I like that.
Thank you. And to cement that
Why
idea...
did you say thank you? You didn't do it.
I came up with that phrase.
Oh, I wasn't saying about the phrase, like, the Empire of the Dead. That's cool.
I came up with that.
Oh, well then, you're welcome.
I kind of stole it from him because at the entrance to the catacombs, he did install a sign reading, Arrête, c'est ici l'Empire de la Mort, which is French for, stop, this is the Empire of the Dead.
Oh, spooky, devious.
Which, honestly, that's what we should hang above your door.
Empire of the Dead, yes.
Stop, this is the Empire of the Dead.
Honestly, I like that. That's
if I make you a really cool looking sign, would you hang it on your door?
Depends what it said.
Stop. This is the Empire of the Dead.
Then yes, I would hang that above my door for sure, because that's cool.
Your birthday's coming up. Soon after work
I am going to be 30, so basically I'm going to be the Empire of the Dead. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. I mean, we've all seen your ass. There's not much difference between that and the ass of a skeleton.
Yep. And you know...
We've made a lot of ass jokes today.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
Our brain's just on ass today, and you know
I guess so.
What can you do? Some days
your brain's always on ass.
Ass. My brain can be on a lot of different things.
Mescaline for one. Soon after the work was completed, the catacombs were open to the public to walk through, and to this day they remain one of Paris's top tourist attractions. The ossuary and portion of the catacombs that is open to the public comprises just 2 miles of over 200 plus miles of abandoned limestone tunnels.
Which is pretty crazy. That's a lot of tunnels.
The rest of the tunnels have served various purposes over the years. During the Franco-Prussian War, as well as World War I and II, the people of Paris took refuge from former armies there. And during World War II, the French resistance used the tunnels to funnel goods and information away from the eyes of the Nazi occupiers. The tunnels have also been used frequently by the city's criminals to escape and hide from the police. To this day, gangs still occupy the tunnels and have been known to jump explorers and rob them and beat them and then leave them in the pitch black to try and find their way out.
See, I mean, that's what you get. If you're not supposed to be there, don't go fucking there. Don't go places you're not supposed to be, okay? Girl, these spooky-ass tunnels full of dead bodies, nothing's good's gonna happen there.
2 miles of the 200 miles are filled with the dead bodies.
But still, there's probably ghosts and shit in there.
The tunnels also provided space for underground gatherings. Various spaces have been transformed into clubs, bars, and restaurants and have been found.
Oh, that's actually really cool.
I mean, when I say this, they're underground, not in the fact that they're actually underground, in the fact that it's think speakeasy.
Yeah.
You need to know someone to get in.
Right, they're not legally supposed to be there, but they're there.
In 2004, police discovered an entire movie theater under the Trocadero, which is the famous square across the river from the Eiffel Tower where everyone gets their pictures. And the next day, when they brought reinforcements to empty it, they found everything gone. And the only thing that remained was a note that said, "Ne cherchez pas," which means "do not search."
That's pretty spooky, but also that's kind of cool. That's definitely, they should make a movie out of that. That's cool.
Periodically, police have also found spaces seemingly used for rituals, including the satanic black mass and sacrifices.
Ooh, devious. Always goes back to Satanism.
Yeah. Well, I said the black mass because I think the black mass does involve, like, human or at least animal sacrifice.
Yeah.
So I'm not saying, like, actual, like, Church of Satan. I mean, like, the spooky stuff. Like, cult stuff.
It probably was church. Not like the Church of Satan itself.
I don't
but, like,
doubt, like, Church of Satan's going down there. I'm, like, talking, like, cult activity.
not the Church of Satan itself, though. Like off branches of like
Yes.
crazy people.
Cult. Satanic
Culty,
cults.
yeah. People who think they're like being badass and doing
Manson.
yeah. Think that. Yeah, very that. It's still like spooky and
On
energy though.
Oh, sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just saying, on this podcast, when we say satanic, we don't mean Church of Satan. We mean
Yeah.
the general idea of it.
Right.
In 1955, the French government stepped in and outlawed the entrance and exploration of any part of the catacombs not open to the public.
Ooh.
This has not stopped a dedicated group of explorers known as cataphiles.
Okay. That sounds like if you came to my house, I would hide my kitty from you.
Oh my god.
It sounds like they're sexually attracted to cats.
No.
And I don't like that. Okay.
No. They continue to explore the catacombs while a dedicated police force has also been formed to try and stop them.
Stop abusing the kitties! They're raping the cats!
Now, I do want to say here, do not... So, you can go and you can find cataphiles, but they're an intensely closed off group. It takes years to get them to trust you enough to take you down there because there are only so many entrances that are not blocked off that they can use. And I mean, they're constantly afraid of police interference to, like, figure out how they're entering to arrest them and then close off their entryways. And so I want to put in here, do not try to enter the catacombs by yourself. It's extremely dangerous. The warren of passages of the catacombs is not a place one wants to visit on their own. In addition to them being small and unlit and 7 stories underground, and some of them being just mere feet beneath the tracks of the metro train system, while others abruptly dropped into underground lakes, something still lingers down there.
Ooh.
There have been reports of phantom lights leading explorers deeper into the caverns away from exits.
I don't like that.
Others report hearing ghostly Gregorian chanting at night, like when they are moving the corpses.
Welcome Christmas time.
Not you singing in dissonance. Others report voices from within the walls encouraging them to go deeper, go farther, turn this way, go down that way.
Daddy, go deeper! Deeper, please! You can go deeper, I can barely feel
I walked into that one. Despite the fact that the catacombs are home to 6 million bodies, the main hauntings come from those who have gotten lost in the tunnels. There is, however, only one confirmed death in the catacombs.
Confirmed.
Philibert Asper, a doorkeeper at the Val de Grace hospital built directly over the mines. In 1793, at the height of the Revolution, he went down into the mines looking for a wine cellar and was never seen alive again. 11 years later, his skeleton was discovered lying feet away from an exit on the other side of the city.
Damn, that's rough.
with a burnt-out candle in his hand, and he was only identified by the buttons on his jacket and the hospital keys on his belt.
He was just feet away, too. That sucks.
He was buried in the exact spot where he died, and he is the only person killed or buried in the catacombs with his own personal grave marker. And it is said that his spirit walks the catacombs, helping to lead lost cataphiles to the exit that he never got to reach, and he's considered the patron saint of the cataphiles.
Oh, that's actually a nice thought. I like that one. That's a nice thought. Not for him, but for us.
Yeah. Now, despite that being the only confirmed death in the catacombs, there is evidence that there were more. In the 1990s, cataphiles found a camcorder abandoned down there. And when they watched the tape, they watched as the owner of it got lost and slowly went insane, searching for an exit, as he instead went deeper and deeper until he just dropped the camera and disappeared in the darkness.
That'll give you chills. That's a literal horror movie.
The video has been described as being like a real-life Blair Witch Project.
I can imagine. Yeah, that's spooky.
And it is believed to inspire the 2014 film As Above, So Below, which was the first film with permission to film in the actual catacombs.
I remember watching that film, actually. As far as horror movies go, it's neither here nor there. It's okay, but I'd say out of 5 grapes, I'd get it at 2 grapes, 2.5 grapes.
Okay. There are also stories of La Dame Blanche, or the White Lady, believed to be the ghost of a noble woman who entered the catacombs to escape the guillotine during the Revolution and died lost in the tunnels.
Yeah. And now, I did offer DJ to become a white lady this week for €5, but he did decline.
I did. I'm a little more expensive than that. But
one day, we will get DJ to become a lady.
I don't need to become a lady. I'm non-binary. I'm already half a lady. Some days I'm 90% lady.
We'll keep working at it, guys.
Stop trying to gender conform me. Stop trying to dictate my gender. You're just like my grandma.
It's in my DNA. I can't help it.
Yeah, so is rampant. I'm going to stop myself there. Another ghost is that of either a Revolutionary Era soldier or royal guard from the same period, who cataphiles reports seeing standing sentry before they look directly at him, at which point he fades into the wall of bones behind him.
Ooh, I'm going into the wall!
Just the number of royals down there. I wonder if it is a royal guard and he's eternally keeping watch over the remains.
Oh God, that would be awful.
Some have reported hearing the sound of a sobbing child, first far away and echoing, and slowly getting closer and closer until it reverberates off the walls around you.
Oui, baguette, oui, baguette, escargot,
Les escargots est chaud. No, it's Freud. I can't remember cold.
And you too, after 30 days of Duolingo French, can stumble over the word gold.
Cold, not gold.
Cold.
I haven't reached that part of Duolingo yet. And when I was taking French for 5 years, I always struggled with the difference between hot and cold. Kind of like in English, I struggle between right and left.
Or just struggle in general.
That God knows that's true. Now, no one knows if this is the spirit of one of the children from the emptied cemeteries looking for the spirit of its parents, or a child who got lost in the catacombs and is forced to wander in the darkness forever.
That's another sad thought. Lots of sad thoughts.
Right? Most haunting is the presence not of someone, but of something inhuman, lurking just out of eyesight constantly in the shadows, following people who are alone. Many believe that it is not the spirit of one of the people buried there, but is the spirit of the catacombs itself, constantly waiting to claim its next inhabitant.
The keeper of the combs, if you will.
Exactly.
That's spooky. It's like a demon. Maybe not a demon, but just like maybe an egregore.
Maybe. It is rumored that somewhere in the maze of limestone passages are the gates of hell itself. After all, the first major collapse did occur on Rue d'Enfer, Hell Street, and the original starting point of the mines was from the city's Barrière d'Enfer, or the Gates of Hell. Perhaps it's just another legend of the City of Light, or perhaps the light above is meant to block out the darkness festering below.
Ooh, festering.
So, I've actually been here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, when I went to Paris in high school, I did a tour of the catacombs.
Did you feel anything spooky?
Yes. One of the people on my tour had to pee, and so, like I said, so Paris is very marshy, and there's like underground rivers and lakes all over the place. So one portion of it, there was, so you're like going along on this raised stream bed. And so on one side of you, there's a drop into this river you can't see. And on the other side of you is a wall of bones. And then there was like a storage closet built in the limestone. And so the path did like a square U shape around it. And so this guy's like, I have a water bottle. I'm just going to run up there and pee. And so, like, me and the rest of the group are waiting, and we're waiting, and he's not telling us that he's ready to come. Like, he's ready, he's done peeing, and we can go forward. And another tour group actually came around and passed us. And I went and hear the screaming because there's somebody pissing the Gatorade bottle, and there's nothing. And so I'm like, I'm going to go up there and I'm going to check. And I walk up, and he's gone. And I'm like, what the heck? And I turn, and that storage closet built into the limestone, there's a big black iron gate. And all of a sudden, a face manifests out of the darkness. It was him. He figured out the gate was unlocked, and he went in there to pee. That was probably the scariest part, other than the fact of... So you go down, and there's a museum. And it's on all the minerals under the city of Paris. And also all the skeletal deformities that they found while, like, designing the catacombs. And it looks like a museum. White walls, it has a floor, it has electric light. There's TVs down there. And then you go through this passage into the catacombs themselves. And at this point, it's just the limestone. And it's cold, and it's damp. And you have to remember this is 2 miles. I don't like walking. And so it got to the point where I'm walking and I started to complain out loud that I'm cold, I'm damp, my feet hurt. I was promised dead bodies. Where the fuck? And I'm saying, where the fuck are the dead bodies? As we pass through a doorway. And then you're just surrounded by skeletons.
Period. It would be so cool to see the skeletons and the dead. Well, yeah, dead bodies, but yeah. It'd be so cool to see all the skeletons and the spookiness. And
I keep telling you, let's go to Paris and investigate, and you keep saying, I hate the French.
Yeah, I'm not going to Paris. Not my vibe, not my thing. I'll let them do what they're doing, and I'm going to do what I'm doing, and that's going to be okay. But it would be cool to be in a place with that many, like, skeletons, like, arranged like that.
Now, what if we can infiltrate the cataphiles to get a tour of the abandoned part?
That would be interesting for sure.
Don't do that at home.
Yeah, I would definitely hang out with the cataphiles and, like, go and, like, urban explore and go where I'm not supposed to be and, like, do spooky things. Like, I'd even hang out with the people doing the dark rituals. That might be a little fun.
Yeah, that sounds like something you would do.
Yeah, it would be... I'm sure they're fine people. They just, like, everyone needs a hobby. Yeah. And some people's hobbies are sacrificing lambs on the weekends. You know? And I'm sure afterwards they make a very nice, like...
Stew,
sausage.
Lamb chops.
Yeah. Which I had some very great lamb in Iceland, so...
So, Paul, any final thoughts on the Paris Catacombs?
Honestly, yes. It would be so cool to go there and see, like, how haunted it is and, like... see if I can see any of the spirits or whatever, and just see what all the hype's about. It would be cool. Yeah, I have no real thoughts other than that, rather than it.
Yeah.
Also, I am glad that I got to know the history of, like, how they got there now. And,
Yes.
like, yeah, I'm glad I know the history
I
of that
know
now.
this was a history-heavy one, but it's one of those stories where the history is just as haunting as the actual hauntings.
Mm-hmm.
So, kind of like New England vampires.
Yeah, no. Because, like, I didn't know about the history of the Paris Catacombs before this, and I'm sure a lot of people don't. So, yeah, it's really interesting to know how all those bodies got there.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you all so much for listening. We always appreciate it. We love you. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Please connect with us on all of our social media, which is linked below. If you have personal stories, whether they're about the catacombs or anything else, please email us. We'd love to start doing listener stories where we share your stories here live on the podcast. Paul. Oh, remember to like, subscribe, and follow wherever you're listening. Paul, where can they find you?
You can find me at my personal Instagram and TikTok at Paulember, Paulember. And as usual, it's not delivery, it's DiGiorno.
And if you'd like to follow me, you can do so at The Real Deej Powers on Instagram or on TikTok. And until next time, folks, keep your crypts tight.
And your corks loose. Bye.
It's just a succulent Chinese meal!